is this constant reminder that we need, because we're all so busy with life. We have work, we have home, we have relationships, we have other issues to take care of. And we don't get time, right? And so meeting once a week is a great way to remind ourselves to continue to connect with the most important aspect of our lives. And that is why we have the spiritual discussion to discuss the questions and talk about these topics, and maybe even constantly repeat them to ourselves so they become reminders. The Sanskrit word for a spiritual discussion is called satsang. Sat meaning pure, truth, good, and sang meaning companion, right? Or company. So it's the company of the truth. It's the pursuit of the truth. That is what satsang is. So we're actually doing satsang, and it's a term in India. If you go to India, you'll often hear people saying, "I'm going to satsang," right? And it happens at all times during the day, and people go to satsang and they get together and then they discuss spiritual topics. So we're going to start. And we're going to start by, we need to calm ourselves down because we've all been busy. It's been a busy day even for me. And let's start by calming ourselves down. And if you have any audio issues, then put it on Zoom or on Facebook, and I'll continue to check the messages on Facebook and on Zoom. So let's start by calming ourselves down and putting ourselves in that mood and that mode. So if you would join me in closing your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath in, inhale, and try to hold it as long as you can comfortably. Don't be uncomfortable, just as long as you can hold, and then slowly exhale. In my book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, there is a saying that I keep repeating, and that saying is, and I have a board here so Veronica and I can look at it, and is that, and the saying is, at your core, you are peace. Be who you are, be peace. It's worth repeating. At your core, you are peace. Be who you are, be peace. Be peace. Because, you know, on the outside, we have so many tribulations. Our mind is so active and disturbed. But when we go down deeper, we are peace. So we are going to recite, in order to begin this session today, we want to remind ourselves that we are peace. So you could recite, I am peace 3 times. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. The Sanskrit word for peace or tranquility or stillness is called Shanti. So I'm going to repeat Shanti thrice, and you're welcome to do that as well. So it continues to quieten us, right? Puts us in the mood for the spiritual discussion. Shanti. 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 What a beautiful feeling. Even as I say peace, I say Shanti, I can feel it, right? And we all can feel it. And that's a great topic, is that we all need to feel this infinite and connect with this infinite ocean of peace within us. In every human being, is the most amazing aspect of us human beings, is that within us exists this infinite ocean of peace. And we must learn to connect with it. So if people ask, what is the purpose of life? What is the journey of life? The journey of life is as simple as the journey from the mind to the soul, and the experience of the soul gives us the experience of this infinite peace within us. The more we connect with it, the more richer our lives become. Our lives don't become richer by earning more money, having more assets. Those of us who have been older, we know that, right? If you're in school or if you're in college, then the only thing that is on your mind is to make money and to succeed. But those of us who have been around the sun several times know it, that no matter how much money comes, our happiness level doesn't seem to increase. We're all searching for this peace, and sometimes we don't realize it. But the more we connect with this peace, the richer our life becomes. The difficult situations don't bother us as much. They still bother us, but would not as much. So this journey from the mind to the soul, that is what we want to talk about. And that journey is, it is about the very nature of us, right? That is, if you were to ask, what is spirituality? Right? What fundamentally is spirituality? What is the simplest definition of spirituality? Spirituality is the experience of your own soul. Spirituality is the experience of that infinite ocean of peace within you. It is your ocean of peace. It's not somewhere else. And it's not in the mountains. The ocean of peace is not hiding at the bottom of the ocean. You don't have to go on a pilgrimage. That ocean of peace is going around everywhere you're going around. So you're sitting in your home, listening to this right now. That ocean of peace is within you. You can experience that infinite happiness right in your own home. I think that is just fascinating. It gets me, and we all want to visit places where our mind quiets down. But what really is happening, even in those beautiful places where we talked about my friend Veronique, who just came back from beautiful Rishikesh in India. But even when you're in Rishikesh, or you could be in Houston, Texas, wherever you are, you're still experiencing your own peace. It's not as if you're experiencing the peace that exists in that place. What happens is, when you go to that place, the peace in you begins to rise. It is your peace. That's the most amazing thing. You don't have to, nobody can sell you that. You cannot buy it. This is yours. This is your fortune. This is all yours. And nothing can stop you. Nothing can prevent you. Nobody can prevent you. You do not need somebody else's permission. It doesn't matter how others may judge you. It doesn't matter how you yourself judge yourself, right? We all, without exception, have access to this peace within us. Is fascinating. I shouldn't say this, I'm a good person, but I can do bad deeds. And still this ocean of peace that is within me never leaves me. The problem is, when I do bad deeds, I forget that it exists and I stop focusing on it. But if I focus on it, if I tap into it, it's just waiting for me. is the most fascinating. I know I've said fascinating many times. I mean, it's wonderment. It's so wonderful that we all possess this incredible ability to access our own peace. It really is. I mean, it is beautiful to see that, right? So I'm happy to take questions. If not, I can continue to talk about spirituality and about experiencing this peace.
I have a question.
Yes. So Miss Veronique has a question, and I'll invite her to jump into the camera so you all can see her.
You want me to be?
Yeah, you can come in the camera. You join us. Yeah.
Okay. Hi there.
Hi. Yeah.
So my question is very simple, and I know that this is a question that probably all of you have, is that even though you know how to reach down to find that peace that Ravi is talking about, how do you stop worrying? How do you control that, the worry of some circumstances or event?
Yes.
Even if you feel peaceful, you still have it in the back of your mind, you're still worrying, or as soon as you get out of your meditation, then
Yes.
that worry's coming back, right?
Yes.
How
Yes.
do you address that? How do you do
Yes.
that?
Yes. Great question. Veronique, thank you for that question. And I have thought about worrying. I worry a lot. As a human being, as a man who's responsible for a family. More importantly, a man who has to send the mortgage check every month. A man who has to run 2 businesses and deal with clients and teams, right? So we all have worries. We have worries about health. We have worries about relationships. We have worries about financial security, right? We have a lot of, we have worries about children and relationships and how our children are growing up, how our parents are doing, how our siblings are doing. We worry about our friends. We worry about our spouse. We worry about ourselves, right? We deal with guilt and regret, and we worry about that, right? We worry about how is our life going to be. So we are constantly worrying about things that may or may not happen in the future, and things that has happened in the past, things that I know I screwed up. I things that I have hurt people, and not hurt people who were strangers, but hurt people whom I love, right? People who have been so nice to me, I have hurt them, and then I worry about what kind of a person I am. So I have, we all have that. We all struggle with that. So before we talk about how to reduce this worrying, I think there is a point that we all have to acknowledge and recognize, is that this worrying has been there with us all our lives until now. It's been a constant companion. No matter what we did in good times or in bad times, the worrying has always been there. There is a point that we all need to think about. And so think about that, is that, as far back as you could think, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or if you're not that old, since you were a kid, in school, you were in college, that worrying has been there. It has never left us. All right. The second thing to note is that all that worrying really has not helped us that much. Right? We worry all the time. We spend so much. I mean, if this was cash that we were paying, we have paid a lot of money to worry, and it has never given us dividends. We worry so much, and it sort of becomes a habit for our mind. Sometimes it's an obsession for the mind, because the mind is just constantly, it just likes to worry, right? I shouldn't say it likes to worry. It cannot help itself, right?
Yeah.
If I leave you alone, you cannot be peaceful. You're constantly worrying. You're worrying this is going to happen, that is going to happen, right? And so we have to recognize the nature of the problem. So you say, this thing has been with me all the time, and it has done me no good, right? So once we recognize that, then we say, okay, I really need to work on this. I really need to see if I can gain freedom from worrying, or at least reduce its veracity. Can I reduce its hold on me so that it doesn't drive me crazy, right? Now, think about this. What is worrying? Who is doing the worrying? Right?
Who's doing the work?
Sorry, go ahead, RW.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ravi, what is doing the worrying? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, I can hear you, RW. Yes, yes. Who,
What being, what entity is doing the worrying, Ravi?
Yes, yes. What a great question, RW, is that what is doing the worrying? I'd say I am doing the worrying, right?
The ego, right?
The ego or the mind. The mind is doing the worrying because the mind is constantly thinking about something and it cannot stop thinking about it, right? Maybe I have to go visit the doctor next week and I know I have an issue. I don't know what the issue is, but I'm going to ruin my weekend thinking about it, wondering what the doctor is going to say, and hoping and praying that whatever the doctor says is going to be good news, or at least not horrible news. You say, I know there is something wrong. I'm willing to accept something, right? But it's a perfect, at least in Houston today, it's a beautiful day. It's a perfect day. I could be outside enjoying this beautiful day. Instead, I am locked up inside my bathroom worrying about, or in my room, I haven't even opened the drapes because I'm worried what is going to happen on Tuesday when I go see the doctor, right? And I cannot stop that. So I am using up today, which is a perfect day, to worry about Tuesday or Wednesday, right? I am sacrificing today. And there is nothing that says that I need to give up today. I could enjoy today. I could absolutely enjoy today, but I'm not doing that because the mind is worrying about what is going to happen on Wednesday. And that is the story of our lives, because there is some event, either real event or perceived event, right? Because it may not even exist. You know, I did something bad, and now I'm worried that I'm going to get caught. And nobody has caught me yet, but I'm worried that I'm going to get caught, right? And so I'm constantly worrying about that. Something didn't go wrong, or maybe I hurt a friend, and I'm afraid that friend really felt bad. I'm afraid of going and asking them if they really felt bad, but I'm afraid that they're feeling really bad, and I don't want to ask them. So I worry that the next time I meet them, how awkward it is going to be. And I have no idea that maybe the friend didn't care, didn't pay attention, right? Is not focused on it. But I am going to spend the next 10 days before I meet them worrying about, oh, maybe they really felt bad about what I said, right? I am paying with today's dollars. And today's dollars are not going to come back. Once today's over, today's dollars are gone. So I am spending today's money for something that may or may not happen in the future.
Which we have no control over either.
Which we have no control over.
Very little.
Yes. Yeah, which we have no control, or even if we have control, we have to just work on it. But we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it, and it never escapes, right? Because we're afraid what the boss is going to do, or how this might play off, how this project will work.
How are we going to pay the bill?
Yes, how we're going to pay the bills, or whether I'm going to be able to sell the house or buy another house. Will I find a seller? I wonder what will happen. I wonder what will happen to the stock market. I wonder if I have picked the right stocks. I wonder if my kids are going to take care of me. I wonder if my parents are going to take care of me, right? I wonder if my friends are going to be nice to me. I see my friends hanging around with somebody else. I wonder if they're going to ditch me and now go away with these other friends, right? I wonder of my spouse, right? I am constantly worried. And where does this worry come from? It comes from this insecurity that is in the mind. The mind can be fearful and it can be afraid. And you need to, so to control the worrying, now we're moving into, we have understood what the problem is. Worrying is there with us since childhood. Worrying hasn't done anything. And we know why worrying is happening, because we are fearful, right? The mind is fearful. So if we come into the solution space, then we have to say, okay, life can go in cycles. Good things happen, bad things happen, ugly things happen, really good things happen. And the mind, what it wants to do is it wants to avoid bad things. Because I get up in the morning and I say, well, I hope nothing goes wrong today. Have you heard people say that? They say, oh, I wish nothing goes wrong today, right? I wish this year, and so in January, people say, I hope this is a great year. I hope nothing goes wrong this year. I had so many problems last year. I just want a good life. I just want a perfect life. I just want a happy life. I don't want things going bad, right? So that fear is there. And that's what we have to work on. You have to tell the mind, look, in life, and we all need to become mature, right? And so I write about this in the book about maturing our perspectives. I wish I could promise each one of us a perfectly happy life where everything that you want works out perfectly, right? I want just everything working according to my wishes, that if I made a wish, it just needs to come true. I want success, I want fame, I want reputation, I want good relationships with my friends. You can see how loud I am, is that when I walk into the room, I want everyone else to drop what they're doing and suddenly say, oh, look at this, great Ravi has come in, right? I want that. I don't want to go into a room and be ignored, right? So we are all wanting. I want my boss to say, oh, Ravi, what a great job, right? I want my clients to say, oh, Ravi, what a great job. I'm constantly wanting that. I'm afraid that if that doesn't happen, then I am not going to feel good about myself. So I have to change that expectation and say, look, I have to do my part, but life will have its cycles. Life will have its cycles. So I need to become stronger and say that there are going to be situations in life which are not going to be pleasant. There are going to be situations in life and incidents in life which are not good incidents. I mean, there is no other way at looking at it. We are all going to go through, and there is nobody on earth who has a perfect life. No. Not Bill Gates, not the billionaires, not Oprah Winfrey. These are very rich people, very successful people. But if you think they have a perfect life, you look at the movie stars, right? There is nobody on earth who can have just constant things working the way they want. It doesn't happen. So then you say, okay, all right, I will become mature and I will realize that sometimes things will work in my favor and sometimes they won't. And when they don't work in my favor, I have to make sure that I work hard in fixing that situation. I work hard to make myself mentally strong. And I also work hard to make sure I build a network of people who can help me. Because sometimes half the time in life, we come across problems and we think all the problems have to be solved by us. That is not true. We need to reach out. We need to have a circle of friends and family. There is nothing which says that we have to deal with all of life's challenges by ourselves, right? It's okay to ask for help. Please ask for help. Don't have this pride, because if you have pride and you say, well, I don't want to go out and ask for help, then what you're doing is you're making that situation worse. Yes, extra difficult on yourself. So ask for help. You'll be amazed how many people, and yes, I understand that sometimes there are people who will make you pay a price for helping you, right? In so many different dimensions. But sometimes there really are people who will help you genuinely without expecting anything back. We need to build that network. We need to go out and build that. And then you say, okay, if there is going to be things that are unpleasant, if there is going to be a challenge, if there is a health challenge, if there is a financial challenge, I promise myself that I will be stronger. I will deal with that challenge and I will go out and seek help and I will find a solution. Because I was thinking about this today, and I forgot how I was thinking about it. Whatever we are facing, whichever challenge we are facing, I can guarantee it, you're not the first person who has faced that challenge. If you think you have run into a unique challenge, call me if it is even in the middle of the night. Wake me up, all right? I think that would be great. I promise you, I will do everything possible to help you if you come across a problem that no one else has faced before. All right? I promise you, I am not going to be worrying about me losing sleep for that phone call of yours, because I know it is not going to happen. Every problem that every one of us, each one of us might face in life, somebody else has already faced that challenge. So these solutions exist. Others have gone through before us, whether it's a health challenge, financial challenge, relationship challenge, reputational challenge, legal challenge, no matter what kind of challenge you're going to face, others have experienced that. And so we want to remind ourselves and say, okay, no matter what challenges we might be there, it may be worrisome, but others have found the solution and others have probably overcome that solution, that problem, and so can we. And then reduce that worrying and say, okay, look, challenges can come. I can make my mind stronger. I can build my network stronger. And then that gives us comfort, right? Why do we live in homes? I mean, we live in beautiful homes, but really the reason we live in homes is it protects us from the elements outside. Because if we did not live inside a house, we would be subjected to all the elements outside. When I'm inside my house, there can be a storm outside. I can watch the storm. I'm looking out the window and I'm protected. It could be raining, but I'm not getting wet. So when we make our minds stronger, when we build our network of people who can help us, when we help others and we are kind to others, and then we build that network, what we are doing is protecting ourselves, building ourselves a cocoon so that life cannot hurt us as much. And of course, the ultimate cocoon is spirituality, where we connect with our own peace. If we daily, and certainly at least once a week, connect with this peace, our worrying, our mind will learn to worry less, because it will now find a different channel on that radio station that will say, I am listening to the voice or the chant, the music of peace. Because right now there is only one channel in the mind, which is a constantly worrying channel. I have not given it different channels. So I need to give it a different channel and say, listen to the peace channel. Learn, oh mind, to experience your own peace. And then it will spend some time on that peace channel. And then it will come back to the worrying channel. But when it comes back to the worrying channel, that worrying channel will not seem that overwhelming. And so, I remember I did an interview just 2 days ago. You know, it's like watching the news. If you get up in the morning and you watch the news and you watch the news all day long, I mean, the news has 90%, not 100%, but it has a majority of the news is about things that have gone wrong, right? And so you're constantly, if you're on that channel, I promise you, your mind resolve will get weaker, your body will get weaker, because you will constantly, and at some point, you do that for a few years and you will come to live in that paranoid state. You will, because you will think the world is just that. You never get to hear. So what you want to do is, with your mind, is switch the channel and say, let's go to the peace channel. Let's listen to the peace channel for quite some time. Then we'll come back to the worrying channel. And then when you come back, then you say, I instead of worrying now, I need to go to the solution channel. Please go ahead. Yes, please. I see a hand. I don't know your name.
Hi, my name is Anne. I'm here
Hi.
with RW, and my friend here is Baby. Okay, I would like for you to give me your definition of soul, SOUL.
Yes, yes, yes. Miss Anne, what a beautiful question. And the soul, the spirit, the Atma, the Ruh, in so many languages and religions, they have all identified. And so in Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, my book, I talk about soul as this life force, right? This energy that is flowing within me. Because as soon as this energy leaves, someone will call up my lovely wife and say, Ravi's gone. And she'll come into the room and I'll still be there, and she'll say, well, seems to be here. They say, no, he's gone. My body will be there. But as soon as that life force is gone, I am gone, right? That is who we are. My body is not who I am. That life force, that energy in me, that is the soul, right? It is the divine energy in me. That is what gives me dynamism. Because otherwise, I am just matter. This body is just matter. And as soon as you introduce that life force in me, I come alive and I become dynamic. Right? And it is constantly flowing in me. And in the book, I talk about, people talk about the soul. Is the soul in the head, or is the soul in the heart? Is the soul in the stomach, right? And so where is the soul in the body? Because scientists and doctors have really not been able to identify where the soul is. But, when you meditate, when you're completely constantly, when you're in that quietude, what happens is the energy that flows in your spine, you begin to feel that. And there are a lot more experienced people in this, but my sense is that energy that is flowing up and down your spine, all the way from the base of the spine to your top of your head, as it flows and it makes itself evident, that is your soul energy. So your soul is what is keeping you alive, and the soul is there in every one of us. Every living being has this energy.
Can you hear me, Ravi?
Yes, sir.
That's good. I like that. Every living thing has a soul. Even a worm, even a gnat, even an amoeba.
Every living thing has a soul. Every blade of glass,
Right.
every little plant.
Right.
Because that life energy is what keeps it living. As soon as that life energy leaves, that plant dries up. And you go, well, what happened? This was the same plant, but it doesn't have that life energy. It is just fascinating. And, as I hear so many people talk about, as if human beings are so special, right? Our species, and we are special, but in a different way. But when it comes to this life force, every living thing, plant and animal, insect and microbes, every bacteria has a soul. Please,
Wow.
RW.
Okay, my friend Fabian.
On a mega level, is that energy also in the cosmos and the planets, or people? I have a friend who loves crystals and that type of energy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all still on a
Yeah.
mega
Yes.
concept. It's all still some type of, it's like something is behind all of the life force or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. It's just
Yes. No,
fascinating.
what a beautiful question. You're taking the discussion to such a beautiful level. I appreciate you. Thank you. And it is true, so if we look at the universe, I have heat energy, I have light energy, I have electromagnetic energy, right? And I have this soul, or it is the spirit. So let's call it spiritual energy, right? So I have all these different types of energies. And we know that some of these energies can transform heat, can be transformed into light energy and back and forth, right? I do not know if, spiritual energy, what it transforms into, but it could be an energy by itself and it exists. And if you begin to look at the collective energy that exists in the universe, all of this can come together and become powerful, right? So if you, people who are theists, who believe in the concept of God, one way of defining God is the collective energies that exist, right? Because if you watch the universe, it is a play of energy and matter. The sun is converting matter into energy. And if you look at a black hole, there is always this dynamic in the universe. A black hole converts energy into matter.
Look at that. Hey, go talk to Oki.
Go ahead.
And one more question and I'll be quiet.
No, please
So,
ask.
I find it interesting. I have one living son, and I'm thinking of him now in Oakland or in the Bay Area. And I have then what about just like
He works at Google.
what about my ancestors? What about my parents? What about my grandmother? When I think of her,
Yes.
is that just that's my brain, but it's also in my heart because I did come from a very loving environment.
Yes.
So my question would be, do you think that their souls are really intact, or is it just is it contained within my soul that I have a memory of them?
Yes. If you think about your question, it has multiple levels into it. And
Yes,
so the
it does.
the answer has to do justice to your question. So so let's see if we can do justice to your question. First of all, there was this great physicist, Albert Einstein, who I think gave us a physics discovery, but I think is one of the most startling spiritual statements, is that he said, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. We have just established that the soul in you, the spirit in you, is energy. If the soul is energy, then it cannot be destroyed. Right? It cannot be, it is energy, you cannot destroy. In fact, for that matter, your body is matter, and matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So you have molecules come together and they become and then they will disintegrate back into different molecules, right? So you're a party that is happening, and then the party will dissolve, right? And then the components will go back. So, but your matter that came together, the molecules, they have existed forever, and they will always exist forever. It's the most fascinating thing. I cannot take Anne and subtract her from the universe. People say, well, when I arrived on the earth, well, excuse me, did you come in from Mars? Did you fly in? Which flight? What do you mean you arrived on earth? You are the earth, right? And you have always been the earth, and you will always be the earth, right? When the party is over, you're still the earth. And so your soul, all your loved ones, right? Your grandparents, your parents, your friends who are not in that you can touch them in physical form, their souls, their energies are permanent, right? Just as your energy is going to be permanent. I want to say this nicely, and I'm never going to be able to get rid of you because you are permanent. You are eternal, and your energy is eternal, right? And it is this interesting play of how we come across souls, right? Because there are, in my life, there are some souls who came for a fleeting moment, and there are some souls who have stayed for a long time, right? I have a long time association, and then others, right? And so I keep moving around. And sometimes these souls are people who are relatives, sometimes they are friends, sometimes they're colleagues, but I come and go through, and my association with these souls change, right? So that's one part of the answer to your question. Your lovely question had another component. And that was, you asked, or is it that that soul is in me, that I'm only just thinking about it? So your mind, these souls exist, they have always existed, they will always exist. Now your mind is remembering. You say, I love the feeling that I had with my grandmother or my grandfather. I love that feeling. So in your mind, you're keeping those memories alive. And you're reconnecting with that experience, that feeling, because it's in your subconscious, and you bring that up. And even on a down day, right? You're feeling challenged, and you're waiting in the waiting room for the doctor, and the doctor is keeping you waiting for 3 hours when he or she has to give you some important news, and they're making you wait, right? And you go, my God, this is the most horrible thing that they could be doing to me. Just get on with it. But even in that time when you're so tense and you're so worried about what they're going to say to you, you could tell your mind, okay, I need to do that. And when they call my name, I will go in. But while I wait here, let me go back and connect with the feeling of being with my grandmother or my parent or my friend. And I promise you that 3 hours while you wait in that waiting room can just be absolute heavenly. You could take that 3 hours and just have such a thrill, and you walk into the doctor's office and you have such a wide grin. He says, what happened? Did you already find out that you don't have an
That's
issue?
funny. That is funny.
You go, no. I just learned that in spite of being in your office, I can have a high, right? And so you can take him, so Veronique's question about the mind that is constantly worrying, I can take that very mind and flip it and change the channel and make myself experience a high. Please, RW. Do you like that?
Ravi, you're a funny guy. I didn't know you were funny. I didn't pay for funny. I got a bonus. Hey,
Please.
Ravi, I have a question. This one is a little more serious, okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I missed a little.
Okay. Let me take the laptop for this. Okay.
Yeah.
My mother.
Yes.
Okay. My mother is 88 years old. She was born during World War II, listening to it on the radio, and in a very small town in Mississippi. Now she's 88 years old. All of her friends are dead.
Yes.
She's by herself in a big mansion in San Antonio.
Yes.
Her back is broken and she's on Oxycontin. She's in constant pain.
Yeah.
There is no surgery. She's already done all that. And she's very lonely.
Yes.
So when I visit her, and I used to try to visit her once a month because I live in Austin. So I would try to be a good son. I'd go visit her. Well, every time I visit her, her blood pressure goes through the roof. So I don't visit her anymore. I just send her flowers and I send her chocolate. And I help her. I do a little tech support, a little bit. And Robbie, what can I do to help my mother?
Yeah. Wow. What a great question. Let us do this. To begin with, let us all think about your mother for a second and wish her, give her good wishes, right? Let us send
Her name
some
is Cheryl.
positive energy um, to her, right? We all have the capability to generate positivity. So let us wish her. Let us wish her some good wishes. And in every family, we have a lot of history. Every relationship has a lot of history. Relationships goes through ups and downs. And in relationships, we have, you know, pleasant moments and unpleasant moments where things have happened. And sometimes that prevents us and that holds us back. But if you're visiting her and her blood pressure is going up for whatever reason, every day, if you can, RW, send her good wishes, right? Send her good wishes, write her and tell her, and tell her this, you can send her notes as you're sending the flowers and just say, Mom, I love you. Mom, I love you. Mom, I love you. That's all, which is true, right? You're not, you just send her or say, Mom, if that is not true, then you say, Mom, I wish you the best. Mom, I wish you the best, right? That you can do because you really do. You have asked this question, RW. You are, obviously you're concerned for her. Write that. And then, so do that on from your mental basis, but then you can do something else. From a physical basis, you could reach out, see if there is somebody else in San Antonio who can go spend time with her without them ever telling her that that is because of her son, right? That RW did it. If she's going to be pulling back because she go, oh, I'm going to put a filter as soon as if it's RW doing it, I am sure there are people there that you could connect with who could go and talk to her. And they may not help her, but even if they go knock on the door and say, we're just here to, we just came to say hello. We want to make sure, we want to deliver some good wishes. We knew that you're staying alone. And if you ever needed us, we're there for you.
Hey, Ravi, that's exactly what I do. All my friends that grew up with me, my mom, I say, go over, because they all live in the same little neighborhood. I say,
Yeah.
just go over and knock on the door. She's there all day. She don't go anywhere.
Yes.
And I say, just go knock on the door and say, how are you, Mrs. Rushing?
Yes.
So I'm already doing that, which tells me that your answer, you got to what I'm already doing, which tells me maybe you can take me to another level on some issues.
Yes.
Anyway, why don't you, okay, we're at 4:51 right now. Are you gonna wrap up?
We'll begin wrapping up at 4:55. So
Okay.
so if you have other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, now my friend Fabian, who was sitting here, he had a question, but he had to go because he got a business.
Okay.
You want to hear Fabian's question?
Yes, please.
Fabian's a very simple man. He's my driver,
Okay.
but he is a good man. He's a good hombre. Fabian, I'm gonna do it in his voice too. He goes, hey, is this some kind of religion?
Yeah. Now, spirituality is not a religion, because religion, there are a lot of religions in this
Fabian,
world.
come here. Hold on, wait. Tell Fabian, here he is. Hold on. Fabian, come here. Fabian, what? Oh, it's Carrie. Never mind. It's another one of my guys. Hold on. Go ahead.
All right. So there are a lot of religions in the world, and I talk about the difference between religion and spirituality, and we can get into that next week. Religion, so let me say this, the difference between religion and spirituality is that the religion is for your mind.
What?
Religion is for your mind. Your mind says, I am Christian, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am Jew, I am Buddhist. Your soul, which spirituality is about your soul, Your soul does not care which religion you subscribe to. Your soul doesn't understand religion. Your mind says, I am RW, I was born a Christian, or I am Ravi, I was born a Hindu, or I am somebody else and I switched my religion because I didn't like my old religion. Your mind is playing those roles. But spirituality
Come jump
is
on this.
not about,
Yeah. Just come in and check it out.
spirituality is not about
Right here?
your mind. I mean, spirituality is not about your mind. Spirituality is about connecting with your soul. And so spirituality goes beyond religion. Spirituality is a million, billion, trillion times far more powerful and far more relevant to you than religion. Religion
Amen, brother.
cannot even come close to spirituality. Religion would not qualify to wash the feet of spirituality.
I'm
spirited.
Hey, I have one more question, if I remember.
This is so good.
Is that
I'm
sense
sorry.
strong enough?
My home is my office and people come and go and I get distracted. Anyway, continue. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, no, not at all. Not at
Oh,
all.
I remember now I remember now. Hey, Ravi, I read your book.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand a word of it.
Ah,
The only reason I'm here right now is because I talked to you at that Himalayan
yeah,
restaurant.
yes,
And
yes,
you and me talking, we were real 50-50, weren't we?
yes,
I didn't
yes,
talk over you. You didn't talk over
yes,
me.
yes,
We were very mutual. You asked me about the
yes.
what's that book? The short book about the charioteer.
Yes, yes, Bhagavad Gita. So we should do this, RW. You should read
What's
the
the
book
next step?
again.
What's the next step?
And yeah, RW is talking about happy soul, hungry mind. I think it's
Right.
the simplest book on earth, but I can appreciate that as you're reading it, you know, Veronique is sitting with me and she and I had great conversations after she read the book. But RW, I invite you to bless you, sir, to read the book, and we can talk about it chapter by chapter. I'm happy to talk about it chapter. I want to acknowledge Lynn, who is here. Lynn and Lee, we have done an audiobook recording, and Lynn over months, and in fact over a year, was so kind to come in and do this audiobook recording. But we can take chapter by chapter, RW, and then we can go through it. I mean, it really is.
Well, I want to write the Dummy's Guide to Happy Soul Hungry Mind.
RW, you, sir, you are the script writer. You write movie scripts. So I am sure you take books like this and you could write the Dummy's Guide to Happy Soul Hungry Mind in your sleep. So let's work on that. Let's aim into that. Let's make that book as simple, because the
Hey,
messages are
Ravi,
so powerful.
Let's just let's work together. I mean, I had that one idea for that retreat in Austin, which would have been great. But then
Yes.
I got really sick. I struggle with allergies and I'm on shots for allergies. And sometimes, especially the cedar and the mold and the ragweed, it's just too much.
No,
for me.
let's do that, RD, and let's connect offline and let's plan on that again. I would love for that.
I'd really like you to come to Austin, and I'm thinking like the Four Seasons Hotel, and we put ads in the paper, and we get you an interview on like KXAN, and we do it right.
Let's do it.
And
Let's do it.
we get in Trebiza magazine, and because you're kind of a high-end guy.
Well, I am a
But
simple.
eventually,
Thank
you
you.
start high, and then you spread the word to
Yes,
the poor people who actually need the help.
we need.
Now, that's the
everyone-
only reason.
Yes,
That's the only way I'm going to get involved. I don't care about a
Yeah.
bunch of rich people. I'm
Yes.
all about poor people who need help.
yes. No, let's do that. It's 4:57, so let's bring this session to a conclusion, and then RW, you and I can continue the conversation later. I want to thank you all for joining today, for blessing me with your presence. You have done me a big favor. It is so wonderful. Thank you, Veronique, for coming over to our house. Thank you, Lynn. Great to see you. Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Galaxy. Thank you for joining us. And people whom I haven't been to. I got so consumed. People who have followed us on Facebook. Thank you all for coming today. Like I said at the beginning, it is important for every one of us. It is important for me to do this at least on a weekly basis where we get together and we have satsang and we have spiritual discussion, because it is a reminder to us to connect with the peace within. We started with this saying, and we are going to conclude with that saying. At your core, you are peace. Be who you are, be peace. Be peace. Shanti. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you all.